Hello there. My name is Chris Locke. I'm the head of school at IMG Academy. As we continue our webinar series, today we're going to speak with Jeff Holbrook, Director of Admissions for IMG Academy, about the Academy admissions process. Jeff, introduce yourself, please.
First of all, it's a great day to be in the center, Mr. Locke. How are we doing?
It always is.
As you said, Jeff Holbrook here, Director of Admissions. I've been fortunate enough to be at the Academy. Actually, 3 years this month is when the interview process began for my move. Been in the independent school world all my life. 3 different independent schools. Park Tudor in Indianapolis is where I began my career as a kindergarten Spanish teacher and multi-sport coach, and made my way down to Winter Park, Florida at Trinity Prep, where I was a middle school math teacher and head baseball coach, and then most recently up in Louisville at Kentucky Country Day School, where I was a teacher and then moved into the admissions world about 12 years ago. Realized how much we miss Florida, and we're very fortunate that IMG Academy opened up and really made a leap of faith in the world of our career as well as for our family.
So Jeff, you and I connected right on our first interview call, but what was it about the Academy that attracted you to want to apply to be the admissions director here?
Unique. The Academy was unique. And, being in the independent school world, I wouldn't trade that experience for the world. But Park Tudor School, Trinity Prep, KCD, they're great places, and they're the best in their cities, but they're very similar. And when I looked at IMG Academy and I saw how different of a model it was and how it took student athletes and really looked at their goals and their aspirations, I knew that opportunity for those kids was so different. And that's what helps, in my opinion, attract such a diverse community, and why we have students that come in from all over the globe, not just Kentucky and Indiana and Florida, but China and Japan and Myanmar and Australia, et cetera. So I just go back to the word unique and how unique our campus is, and you can't find this everywhere. And that's really what excited me the most about bringing my family down here.
That's outstanding. So because we have such a diverse student body, what is it? Are there any traits? Is there something that helps identify who's going to be a successful student athlete at the Academy?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about this. We've had, kids come in with resumes that are outstanding. They come in from top independent schools. We have kids who come in from lower performing schools. We have kids who come in from IB programs, kids who come in from, different language schools, et cetera. And a lot of them are very successful, but there are some that fail to thrive. So we look at, okay, what is the key ingredient? And what I found is, those students that have the grit, the growth mindset, that I often ask this: who's driving the bus? So is it the parent who's sitting in my office that has aspirations of their child being a Division I athlete, or is it the student that's sitting there salivating over the opportunity to come here and to improve as a student athlete? And those kids who I can tell and see it in their eyes or just hear it in their interactions that they want to improve and they want to be the best student athlete possible, and it's all intrinsic, those are the kids, regardless of what kind of background they've had academically, those are the kids that come here and succeed.
That's excellent. Are there any other things that make IMG unique, than other schools when student athletes are looking for maybe a boarding school? What else stands out to you about the Academy?
We talk about our faculty, and we talk about how we as a school get it. And what I mean by get it is we understand what the student athletes are going through. We understand what their goals are. We understand how much effort it takes to be excellent, both on the field, court, et cetera, and in the classroom. So our faculty understands that. They're quick to step in to help our student athletes. I often say, it's not a matter of, if you're going to travel, it's when you're going to travel. And at a lot of schools, to ask for a Friday off to go to a showcase that's not a school-based athletic event, no, it's an unexcused absence, and there's some sort of penalty for that. And that's certainly not the case at IMG Academy. We see what these kids are trying to do, and we help them. So that's one of the most unique pieces that I've noticed between what we do and in our interaction with our kids. We get it. Our coaches get it. Our coaches, when we see entire teams take a morning off from practice so that they can get into the school because they had such a tough week the week before of travel, and they're in our library, there's in the learning resource center or the achievement center or working during office hours, and it's not even their time to be in class. Those are things that I believe set us apart from other independent schools or even other public schools.
Can you walk us through the admissions process, and in any ways is that different than other admissions processes you've worked with?
We work in a rolling basis, so that's one piece that is a lot different from your traditional independents or boarding schools. They have a lot of due dates that would be set up for first round, and you'll get your decision in mid-February, early March. We work rolling, which means if you're back in October, you were looking at the 2020 August, well, then you could apply and you could get a decision, based on that piece. I would say that's the main difference.
Obviously, both sides are looking for fit, but as we look for who makes a good fit for us to admit, what are some of the criteria that you look for?
Yeah, the first thing we talk about is that great the growth mindset, but that's awful hard to see on paper. So the first thing that we're looking for is we're looking at transcripts, and we're looking for student athletes and their ability to succeed in the current program that they're enrolled in. So those students that are successful there, we'll do some more research. We'll ask for recommendations from the teachers. We'll make sure that from a character standpoint that we're putting the right kids in the hallways. So when we take the application itself and we're talking about the transcripts that are coming in, and then we're talking about the teacher recommendations that are coming in, if there's any type of learning plans, we want to make sure that families are educated as to how our learning plan or how their learning plan can match with our learning resource center and what type of offerings we can do to make sure student athletes can be successful. We take all of those pieces into consideration in that holistic approach. So, what exactly are we looking for? We're looking for kids who are successful, and we're looking for kids who want to be successful. So, we obviously make it unique, and we'll have discussions if we see some things in a file that might lead us to believe there could be some difficulty or a failure to thrive at IMG Academy, whether that's, discussions with principals, whether that's discussions with families and really just having heart-to-hearts about how things might have impacted their past and why a semester didn't go so well. Those are things that we will really look at. And ultimately, we have to make that gut decision as what we believe to, make that gamble on a student athlete to see if they can come into this unique environment and be successful with the resources that we have in place.
On the academic side, is there a minimum GPA that you or the admissions committee is looking for from a student athlete?
That goes back to what we were talking about as far as a unique or just that holistic approach that we will look at. Of course, we've got some things that we must consider, and that's the first thing we always talk about is NCAA Division I eligibility. Regardless if a student athlete has that athletic potential to be a Division I player, we want to make sure they have that academic resume to put themselves in a Division I standpoint. And that's a 2.3 is what they're looking at. So if someone's, getting close to that 2.3, 2.5 area, then that's obviously going to raise some areas of concern for our admissions committee. That doesn't mean that everyone with, below 2.3 will be declined, but we're certainly going to do a lot more research, and we're going to find out why someone might have below that 2.3. And, if we feel that a student could come here and prosper under the different types of support groups that we might have, the help, the support of our academic affairs team, our principals, et cetera, if we feel that all of those resources wrapped together can help someone improve, then by all means, we can still give some of those students a shot.
So on the flip side, Jeff, What role does athletic ability play in the admissions process?
You could pretty much say that, some of your top academic schools, how could a student with a certain GPA actually get in there? And it's obvious that athletic ability helps a student athlete get into college. It certainly helps their resume. So we in the admissions office will often speak with our athletic programs. And if for some reason a student is on that borderline and we find that their athletic ability is superior than most, and we will take that into consideration. It doesn't mean it's an automatic acceptance, but it's certainly something when we look at that holistic approach of an applicant, their athletic ability can obviously help them.
Probably another question that you get in the office a lot is helping people understand if there's a financial aid process with the academy.
Yeah, what we do with financial aid is all of that is handled with our sport advisors. So each of our families will fill out financial aid forms through the SSS, it's NAIS's company. Those would be evaluated, and then each sport has their own budgets. They work with their own financial aid. I often tell families, think of a general manager of a sports team. They have a certain amount of budget that they have to work with under a salary cap, and that's the same concept with our sports. They have a certain amount of financial aid budget that they can do. Obviously, as an academy, we have a whole lot of lights to turn on, a whole lot of residential mentors to feed, et cetera. So, yes, financial aid is available, but it's certainly something that, it becomes a weight pool situation, and there's lots of factors. But ultimately, you would work with your sport advisor to see if your family could qualify and gain that assistance.
So the last question I have for you is a formal interview required or asked a different way? What's the best way to visit campus and get more information about the admissions process?
Certainly working with those sport advisors and getting on campus is by far the best opportunity. And, to my point earlier on about, finding out who's driving the bus, sitting on the sofa in my office and having those interviews, which is really more of a relaxed interview. We certainly don't go into a situation where I'm just one-on-one with the student and going at it. It's more of a conversational piece that really helps them understand who we are, which is so important because there's so many stereotypes and misnomers out there about who IMG Academy is. So helping them get educated on who we are is so important. And then to your point, the flip side of getting to know that student athlete, it's very valuable, and it certainly helps us in the admissions world make more informed decisions. That being said, we do not mandate an interview process with all of our applicants. If we ever get in a situation where we need more information, then by all means, we're not afraid to reach out to families, and whether that's interview directly with the student athlete or with the parent or with a coach or with a principal, as I mentioned earlier, those are conversations that we will definitely have if we feel like we need more information after evaluating a complete file.
Right. As we talked about in our first webinar in the academic overview, I believe that some of our best families ask us a lot of questions. Yeah. Obviously, we covered some of the most common questions here. What's the best way for someone to reach out to you or to the admissions team if they have questions that we weren't able to address today?
Our email address, admissions@img.com, is a very quick and easy way to get an email. While it doesn't come directly to me, it can make its way to me. If it's something that is sport specific, once those emails come in, we get them directly to the sport advisors. So that's a great way, to start is with the admissions. But then we have also other avenues. If you just go to imgacademy.com, you can click on a few links and you can get yourself to a potential sport advisor through that sense. We have an 800 number. It's 1-866-300-4538. That's another opportunity for you to call directly, and then they can get your inquiry to the right person.
Jeff, thanks you so much. Your passion for the Academy is well known on campus, and we appreciate what you do. Please continue to watch our webinars, and we want you to get more information about the Academy. Thank you again.
Go Ascenders!